Good afternoon, I'm Charlotte Robinson, President of the Thunder Bay Chamber of Commerce, and I'm so thrilled to have such a great turnout on a sunny Friday afternoon in the middle of August. This is great, so thank you all for making the time to be here. I want to start by acknowledging that the City of Thunder Bay is built on the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe peoples of Fort William First Nation, original signatories to the Robinson Superior Treaty of 1850. We recognize the significant contributions of the First Nation, Inuit, and Métis peoples to our heritage, social, cultural, spiritual, and economic wealth. And the Chamber is committed to a relationship with First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people that is grounded on the principles of mutual trust, respect, reciprocity, and collaboration in the spirit of reconciliation. Thank you so much to our series sponsor, Intercity Industrial. They're always such a great supporter of these events. And thanks to Tony for being here from Intercity Industrial. Thank you, Tony. I'd also like to thank our event sponsor today, Resolute Forest Products, Peter Kipsey, and a whole table of wonderful folks. And Peter's going to be up in a moment to introduce our speaker. But we also have a few special guests in attendance today that I just wanted to acknowledge. Our guest speaker, of course, the Honorable Graydon Smith. We're so thrilled you're here. Thunder Bay Atikokan MPP Kevin Holland. Thunder Bay Superior North MPP Lise Beaujois. Kim Bagri, Acting Mayor of the Township of Ignace. And Ken Boschkoff, Mayor of the City of Thunder Bay. So let's give them all a round of applause. So at this point, I will invite Peter Kipsey, who will introduce our speaker. Peter.
Got to put my glasses on. It is a pleasure for Resolute to be a sponsor of the event. We really enjoy being a member of the Chamber, and we want to thank Charlotte and her team for all the work that they do on behalf of the business community here in Thunder Bay and Northwestern Ontario. So thank you very much, Charlotte. I think it's appropriate also that I give thanks and welcome the newest member of the Thunder Bay Chamber of Commerce, our partner, the Thunder Bay Pulp and Paper Mill Inc. That was just formed on August 1st, and just wanted to welcome them to the Chamber and thank them very much. Before I introduce the Minister, there is one more individual I'd like to thank, and that's MPP Kevin Holland. We're pretty lucky on this side of town to have Mr. Holland in the role that he's at. He's always been an open door policy guy. He's been available. Love his tenacity and his ability to listen to people. And on behalf of everybody at the Chamber, I want to thank you for the hard work that you're doing on behalf of the constituents of Thunder Bay. So it is with great pleasure that I get to stand here and introduce the Minister. He's a great guy, and like Kevin, is open door policy and always listening and available for anybody that has any questions for him. In the forest industry, we consider the Minister to be our guy, our champion, our person, our advocate, and he has been nothing but that. But the role that he serves and does is more than just representing the forest industry. It's representing all of the people of Ontario that use the lands and the forests that are available. And you know, it's a tough job to balance everything, and so far I think he's done a great job in making sure that everybody is looked after, not just the forest industry, and I want to thank him for that. The Minister started out as a councillor for the town of Bracebridge and the district of Muskoka. He was then elected as Mayor of Bracebridge and served afterwards as the President of the Ontario Small Urban Municipalities, OSUM, and also the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, AMO. He has been a small business owner, so he knows what we all deal with in this office here. And since becoming the Minister, he has been a tireless advocate for us, particularly in the north this year in mobilizing the resources required to deal with the forest fire season that we've had. It's been awful here, not as bad as elsewhere, but mobilizing those people and getting them out to save our forests has been greatly appreciated. As important as doing that is also recognizing that jobs are very important in the north, and he does a great job of making sure that jobs are in the north, and when he is in Please welcome the Honorable Graydon Smith.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be here today, and again, want to thank Resolute and Intercity Industrial for putting this on. Charlotte, you introduced kind of all the VIPs in the room today. I just want to say hi to my ex-mayoral colleagues because I used to be on that side of the fence. I guess we're all in one big fence together as elected officials, and to my MPP colleagues that are here today. Also a special shout out to Kevin. Kevin, I've gotten to know over the last year and a bit that we've been in caucus together, and we both come from a municipal background and a bit of shared experience there, and maybe it's just our perspective of the way we do things and get things done. But yes, you absolutely have a very, very hard worker on your behalf here, and someone that I love working with. So it's a real pleasure. But shout out to all the elected officials in the room for the great work that you're doing in your communities. It's a real pleasure for me to be back in Thunder Bay. I think this is the third time I've been here in the last 4 months, and I can tell you, I much prefer to be here than at Queen's Park because I get to get out and see and talk with people and hear about what's going on in communities and hear about how specifically in Northwest Ontario, everybody's very focused, I think, on growing their communities, growing the economy, but in a way that respects each other, works together, sees opportunity, and chambers of commerce, by the way, are great ways for that to happen. So Charlotte, keep up the great work. I was a member when I was in business of the chamber in my community, and business working together, kind of hand in hand, taking a look at what their communities are and what they can be is a really integral part of how communities grow. And a lot of people are volunteering their time through chambers of commerce too. I'm a big fan of volunteers. I don't know anyone who isn't, but in my old position as mayor, it certainly gave me a new appreciation for just how hard people work and give up their own time. It's really how I got into politics originally, because I was just in a service club and really liked doing that. But I find that those words, how can I help, really powerful, moving, and something that changes communities. You get enough people asking that question, that turns into a lot of hands with a lot of help in a great community. And Thunder Bay is certainly that. Some of my, again, old municipal colleagues I'll see in a couple of days at the AMO conference in London. So I'll be kind of here, there, and everywhere all over the province. But today I want to speak very specifically about Northwest Ontario. And again, I noted the collaborative approach that I think policymakers at all levels are working towards to ensure there's a bright future for generations to come here in the North. And whether that's working with First Nations to build roads to the Ring of Fire and unlock the critical minerals that will build the electric cars of the future, whether it's bringing back passenger rail to Northeastern Ontario in the form of the Ontario Northlander, or making investments in skilled trades, we are ensuring that Northerners have good paying jobs and are part of the success that is Ontario. And our government, led by Premier Ford, is ensuring that we're getting it done for Northern Ontario. As I mentioned, I've been up here a few times since I've been minister through the spring and now here in the summer. And the last time that I was here, I had a chance to announce the province's new $20 million forest biomass program that will help our forestry sector realize its full potential when it comes to underutilized woody biomass. And along with our forest sector investment and innovation program, we're providing strategic investments to help Ontario's forest sector. I also had the opportunity when I was here to sit down with a Northern Roundtable with MPP Holland and Minister Rickford, and we heard directly from industry, from municipalities about some of the barriers that they face when it comes to building prosperity and getting people to come and stay here in the North. And one of the main things that stuck out in that roundtable and in other conversations that I've had is the need for housing. There's a solid existing housing stock here in the North, but a great deal of it was built 50 or 60 years ago. Families were a lot different back then. Their needs were different when it came to housing. And we know that housing is an important priority of this government, and we're taking bold action to ensure as many Ontarians as possible can realize the dream of home ownership. And I know the housing crisis here in the north is maybe not as intense as it is in southern Ontario, but affordable home ownership is still something that is obviously very much top of mind for residents in northern Ontario. Communities need to be able to provide good housing, schools, and recreation opportunities for the people that grew up here. And we need these things for the people that are going to come here from across the province, across the country, and around the world. And whenever I come to the north, I'm reminded of how vital communities are to our government's plan to build Ontario. There are no two ways about it. The north holds immense potential and is undoubtedly the economic backbone of this province into the future. And I have to mention it in this speech since I'm the minister, and I see a few folks again from the industry here today that have been part of this. The forestry sector alone generated nearly $21 billion in revenue in 2021, supports nearly 142,000 jobs. That is enormous. And we know that when the north thrives, Ontario thrives, and the opportunities for growth, be it in forestry and mining or in manufacturing, are truly endless. We also know that in the past, northern communities have felt their voice wasn't always heard at the provincial table. And that certainly changed, especially with increased representation on the government benches after the last election in 2022. Our team understands that top-down approaches that might make sense for municipalities in southern Ontario might not make sense here. Our government wants to see the north thrive. And as Ontario continues to grow and welcome new people over the coming years and decades, for many, the north is what they will come to call home. And in order to accommodate this growth, communities will need to build new homes, build out and update existing infrastructure, and accommodate new economic opportunities. But we've heard time and time again, the municipalities don't have enough land to build on to make these projects a reality. It was something I heard when I was the president of AMO, as was mentioned earlier. It's something I've heard since becoming minister. And it's something that I've been hearing over the last year as I've traveled through the north. Now, interestingly enough, MNRF has lots of land that we administer in the form of Crown land. And although there are processes to ensure Crown land is managed in the best interests of a variety of various partners, we need to make sure communities who are interested in purchasing Crown land are able to navigate these channels in an efficient, timely, and cost-effective way. If municipalities are able to do this, it will create stronger communities, and stronger communities mean a stronger Ontario. In 2021, our red tape reduction bill, our government in it made a commitment to ease unnecessary burdens and regulations in order to grow our economy, create good paying jobs, and make it easier for businesses to thrive. Part of that commitment included making it easier for northern municipalities and Indigenous communities to purchase public lands from the province. As a government, we understand the intrinsic connection between land and community growth, and we are committed to facilitating this process in every possible way, because we know, again, there is so much potential. The lands administered under the Public Lands Act account for 87% of the province's land base. Of that land, there are significant parcels that are within existing municipal boundaries. This presents significant opportunities for growth and prosperity in Ontario's northern regions, but only if interested communities are able to access these lands in a straightforward and timely way. To ensure that we're taking the right steps in this journey, we've been proactively consulting with northern municipalities over the last 2 years on Crown land disposition. And we've heard your concerns. You need improved clarity. You need a faster process. You need better capacity at the ministry level to help you navigate the process of acquiring Crown land. We listened when Mayor Harrison in Dryden said his community needs to build new high-density housing to keep up with projected growth. We hear Mayor Moda in Red Lake tell us that building new roads and bridges to nearby First Nations communities will be a vital link for those who live in the region, but they can't do that until they have access to public land to make it a reality. Local leaders understand the needs of their communities better than anyone else. And as a former mayor, again, I understand their concerns. It's our duty on the provincial side to listen and to do all that we can to help them achieve their goals. Through our consultations with municipalities, we've gathered valuable feedback that has shaped our approach to making Crown land disposition easier and more accessible. That's why today, I'm excited to announce my ministry will be creating a new dedicated task team comprised of ministry staff, which will make the Crown land disposition process easier and faster. This team of specialists will provide direct support to northern municipalities and First Nation communities who want to purchase Crown lands within municipal boundaries. This team will help give the clarity and support which municipalities identified for us during our consultation around process and requirements of purchasing Crown land. The team will focus on a few key areas. The first part of the team's mandate will be to pre-screen available Crown lands that are within municipalities. By doing so, we can identify the most suitable parcels to be considered for purchase. And I want to assure those of you here in the resource sector today, this will be land that is suitable for housing and infrastructure projects and will not impede resource development. We also want to ensure that we continue to protect natural heritage features that are important to our environment and make sure we protect lands that are important to municipalities in that regard. We understand that each community has its own unique needs, and this pre-screening process will connect interested municipalities to ensure that public lands identified align with those needs while not hindering economic growth. The second thing the team will be focused on is supporting engagement between municipalities and Indigenous communities. Communication and collaboration are essential for this to succeed. And we want to build strong partnerships that allow for the development of public land in a manner that respects Indigenous rights, cultural heritage, and traditional knowledge. This task team will also provide specific criteria for application requirements around the purchase of Crown land. Clarity and transparency are essential for everyone involved, and this team will ensure that the application process is simple and consistent throughout. Additionally, we're committed to establishing service standards for ministry application reviews and decisions to ensure all parties receive timely responses and updates. We will have a system through which municipalities and Indigenous communities can check the status of their applications, including what's been completed and what remains outstanding. We understand that timelines are crucial. Delays in process can hinder progress and dampen enthusiasm for investments. We're also dedicated to expediting the process of removing roadblocks to ensure that interested parties can and will move forward with their development plans in a fast and simple way, while still respecting the processes intended to consider Indigenous rights and public interest. Throughout the sales process, the task team will be there to offer support from the initial stages of identifying suitable public lands to the finalization of land sale agreements. Lastly, being proactive is the core of this approach. The task team will continually identify parcels of public land that could be suitable for sale, which aligns with community housing or development projects. This way, we'll be able to approach communities where the sale of public land would be most suitable and move the process along in an efficient and streamlined way. By staying ahead of the curve and anticipating the needs of communities, we can seize opportunities and expedite development in priority areas. The team will also help identify potential funding opportunities that can help advance the disposition process, such as funding for studies, mapping, surveying, and consulting. Our plan is to have the task team in place for late fall, and by next year, it will begin working to advance Crown land proposals by reaching out to communities with potential land sale opportunities. This task team is only the first step in a phased approach my ministry is taking to make it easier for municipalities and Indigenous communities to acquire Crown lands. The second phase of our approach will include a review of ministry policies and will include lands surrounding lakes that currently have lake trout populations. Public land around these lakes have policies in place to make it more cumbersome for public land dispositions to occur. But we'll engage with municipalities, indigenous communities, and various stakeholders, including the public, to consider some more potential changes that could be made to this policy. That could include considering the sale of public lands within municipalities on some lake trout lakes. Our ministry recognizes the delicate balance between economic development and environmental conservation that goes often hand in hand. We want to ensure that we minimize the potential impact to any lake trout habitats, populations, and fisheries while helping northern and indigenous communities achieve their development goals. We will rely on your insights and feedback to ensure we're taking the proper steps moving forward. Northern Ontario is a place rich in culture, tradition, resources, and vibrant communities. But to ensure that we're setting the right conditions for growth and prosperity, we need to act now. By making it easier to purchase Crown lands, it will help rural and remote communities build brighter futures and foster growth for generations to come. In the formation of this policy, there's been a lot of talk about how historically the Ministry of Natural Resources has often been a ministry that said, nope. But we're working to make it a ministry where more things are possible, and one where we work collaboratively to make sure communities have the tools that they need to thrive. Our government envisions the future where communities across the north can flourish, where new housing developments can be expedited to meet the demands of a rapidly growing population, where local economies thrive with innovative industries and businesses, and where the environment is respected. And this will only be possible if communities have the land that they need to build on. We are steadfast in our commitment to creating an environment where those communities seeking to purchase Crown land can go through a straightforward and simple process. We're excited about the opportunities that lie ahead, and we look forward to witnessing the remarkable growth that will unfold across the north in the years and decades ahead. This is just one of the many steps that our government is taking to help unlock the north and realize its full potential. So let's work hand in hand to build a brighter future for all of Ontario. Thank you very much. Yeah, we can take a couple of questions. Sorry, I meant to mention that.
Yeah, but if anyone has a question for the minister, just raise your hand and identify yourself.
Please, you have to wait until we go back in September. So we put you in the queue.
Regarding anything within MNRF, and certainly not just with regards to this.
Well, God bless this room with people that are so full from an excellent lunch that they can't raise their hands. Listen, in the absence of any questions, just let me say again, what a pleasure it's been. And continues to be for me to work with everyone here in Northwest Ontario and all throughout the north and all throughout the province of Ontario, quite frankly. I was honored when Premier Ford gave me the opportunity to be minister. Certainly trying to make the most of it and make sure, as I said in my closing remarks, that communities here thrive and survive. You're off on such a running start. What I see of you all working together, whether it's industry, business working together, levels of government working with each other, government and business working together, communities that have so many people that are so excited about where this could go in Northern Ontario, that it's exciting for me to be part of it, and I just thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you so much, Minister, for making the time to come and meet with our business community today, and excited about the opportunities that the new announcement today will open up for our municipalities and potentially for businesses once we have some more available land for development. I would also like to again thank our series sponsor, Intercity Industrial Supply, for their support today, and to Resolute Forest Products, and also the Valhalla Hotel. I have to get used to not calling it the Valhalla Inn, the Valhalla Hotel, for the great food and service. We do have a very full agenda of leaders' luncheons coming up in the fall, so mark your calendars. On September 6th, our keynote speaker will be the Minister Patty Haidu, Minister of Indigenous Services and Minister responsible for FedMar. On September 19th, our guest speaker will be Norm Gale, City Manager for the City of Thunder Bay, so start crafting your questions for that one. And on September the 20th, we'll be hosting our next After Business right here at the Valhalla Hotel. And for information on any of the upcoming events, go to our website, tvchamber.ca. Thank you all so much for coming today. I wish you a wonderful weekend and all the best as we ride into September. Thank you very much. Take care.